All right, so I want to go through another brief example with you. This one is going to be for a more biz op oriented product. And this is a brief that I did, I guess back in 2014, 15 for the Lions Publishing guys for a biz op kind of type of offer, how to make money online without having skills or training or things like that. So, and I actually just kind of came up with this product through research as well. And I don't think it really ever saw the light of day, but I actually thought it was a pretty interesting product. So remember, obviously, this stuff is getting done from populated by the research we've done, as well as through our work with the mechanism and figuring out a unique mechanism for it. So for this offer, which is again, a biz op type offer, right? Who's the audience? Well, generally lower income, straddling the poverty line, 45 plus. Believe that just like young people are making millions on the internet or even billions, they could too. Maybe they've had some business ideas in the past that their friends have said are good. I just pulled this up with them. But they either don't have the money to act or have never acted. Others may just be semi-retired or retired and looking for something productive to do with their time. What are the pain points or biggest fears? Identify the 1 to 3 huge ones while the rest are secondary. So in the short term, can't pay the bills, tired of living on food stamps or being unemployed, low educational background means shitty jobs and fast food, physical labor, etc. Tired of that life, tired all of the time. If they are employed, likely working multiple jobs just to make ends meet, tired of living in neighborhoods where their kids' bikes get stolen from the front yard. Ones who are closer to middle class are worried about retirement, worried about having enough money to last them the next several decades, especially with kids, grandkids, spouses. Even those with one single decent job are tired of working for someone else, of the burn of 9 to 5, of having to constantly struggle with this stuff. So this is worth noting because in this case of biz op, right, it's not going after necessarily young dudes or bros who want to own a marketing agency, right? This one's going after like a colder, broader traffic of people who are kind of lower income and looking for a better way in their lives. And it's important to differentiate that. But then we still want to talk about people who aren't in that bracket, who are more middle class or have a decent job, and why would they be interested in this as well, or what is their pain point? Right, longer term, being poor for the rest of their lives and never having enough money for their kids, loved ones, etc., struggling, working until they die, or living off food stamps until they die, driving shitty cars, having bad credit, being stuck with loans they can't pay off. For middle class, being stuck in a job they hate for the rest of their life, not having enough for retirement, dying and never having done so many of the things they dreamed of doing. See, as I mentioned in another one of these videos, we get more existential towards the end of the longer term stuff, and a lot of it is basically everyone has a bucket list, and dying before you get to check a lot of those things off your bucket list because you didn't have the money to do them. That's like a long-term pain point, but it's a very real pain point that people have, and a very real fear. All right, so by reversing the pain points and biggest fears, what is the one big promise, or I guess a couple, you're going to make? How will this change their lives forever? I said a couple because of the 1 to 3. So we'll show them a simple plug-and-play business opportunity that they can use directly online, requires no cash to get started and no business experience. If you have an email address in the internet, you can do it. Maximizes the concept of leverage, one where you exploit a unique opportunity by putting yourself in a powerful situation. Probably won't make them hundreds of millions of dollars because that's unrealistic, but a couple $100,000 from this over time, at least $5,000 per month, enough to pay off bills, get out of debt, get new cars, or probably a new car versus new cars, but it's a little difference. New car, clothes for their kids, all the things they wish they could do and have, but haven't because of money. All right, what solutions to various problems exist already, and why aren't they working for them? Well, you can make it rich some other way, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to try to get a college and postgraduate degree, work in a job for the next 40 years, and trying to work your way up to $100,000 a year, maybe even $200,000 per year. But generally, these people are at a point in their life where that's not going to happen. And that's actually important because that's what they all of them believe. It comes back to I've been in Ubers before where I'm talking to the driver and telling them how I do marketing, and this has happened multiple times. They're like, oh, so is that what your college, your degree's in? And I say no, and they're shocked. And they're like, then they tell me about how, I want to do marketing or business, but I don't have a degree, or I didn't finish college, so nothing I can do now. And you're like, okay, cool. I know a ton of multimillionaires who never went to college, but there's a belief about that, right? And so that's how they believe that this solution, isn't a real solution for them and doesn't work. They also think they could start another business, maybe a website or an app or something, but do they have experience in that? Do they want to spend tens of thousands of dollars or more hiring programmers, right? They probably don't have that kind of money, or the confidence to dive into something like that. They can stay in their current jobs, but they hate those jobs already. And then there are other Biz Opp courses out there, but most of the market for this product hasn't been exposed to them. And even if they have, they probably found out that it was a lot of promises and not a lot of substance. They felt ripped off or cheated, made them feel even more hopeless. Okay, I'm gonna pause it for 1 second and grab my tea. Okay, so what's the new claim, root cause, surprising info, right? The mechanism here. Well, there are millions of products sitting on the shelves of stores in America right now that simply will never sell at their main retail price. What happens to them? The retailer or the manufacturer continues to cut the price on these products until eventually they become so cheap that someone will buy them. Usually these products end up being sold in liquidation sales or at bargain stores, dollar stores, warehouse sales, or like. I'd probably just put etc. 2015 Stefan said or the like, but I think etc. makes more sense. But while there are literally millions of retailers who are desperate to find people to buy their products at a hugely discounted price, there are also tens of thousands of liquidators who want to buy these same items. It's called liquidated buying, and people make billions off this industry. All you need to do is join these all you need to do to join these billionaires is act as a broker. You simply find manufacturers and retailers who have overstocks or too much inventory, connect them to liquidators and closeout specialists who love buying those products so they can sell them to their vast networks, and you make a huge profit as a middleman. You don't even have to physically touch the products or have one single employee. Instead, we'll show you an easy way to ensure retailers and manufacturers will come to you and then show you how to find buyers online, along with each step required to set up the deal and profit from it. For example, say a large home goods store contacts you with $100,000 worth of light bulbs they haven't been able to sell. They need to clear out space for a new shipment, so they're willing to sell all of these light bulbs for $30,000. All you have to do is connect the home goods chain with a discount retailer, and you net a 20% commission or $6,000 in cold hard cash. That's the way this business works, and literally all you did was send out a couple of emails and collect your check. So you kind of an interesting thing to build a course around. And I think liquidation buying is a legit thing. I haven't looked at this in a while, but yeah, kind of cool. Paradoxical question. What happens to all of the products that retail and department stores don't sell? I actually really think that's a very good paradoxical question. Or you can put it another way, would be something like, your outlets, like, what do outlet stores do with the items they aren't able to sell? Because that one's even better, because it's like, we know that outlets get the stuff that the retailer, when a retailer wasn't able to sell a product in their main store, they send it to an outlet store. But what happens when an outlet store isn't able to sell the product either? And then that's where we can answer that with our product, right? Well, there's this whole liquidation business, and liquidators will buy the stuff for even cheaper, and then they'll sell it, and you can even bring in the idea of supply and demand. And basically, if you can connect the retailers to the liquidators, you can make a middleman commission and make a lot of money. Again, a cool concept in my opinion. Metaphor, just like a real estate agent makes a fat commission by connecting a home seller to a home buyer, you can make a fat commission by connecting a seller of overstocked or excess products to a buyer. But you don't have to go out and drive around town to do it, or schedule home tours, or have a bunch of fancy legal paperwork here. Instead, you simply need your email and an internet connection. It's essentially just drawing a straight line between two dots. They'll handle all of the work, you just build the bridge. Kind of a little bonus one with you just build the bridge. So nice, pretty easy to understand metaphor. It is relevant because we're talking about connecting two interested parties and getting a commission. So everyone kind of knows that's what a real estate agent does, and as such, it's easy to then think about that in terms of connecting retailers to liquidators as well. Bold claim. You can make $5,000 per month in extra income by simply acting as a broker between buyers and sellers. All it takes is an internet connection and a couple hours per week of your time. You don't even need to get on the phone with people. You don't have to put out any of your own money. You don't even need to have any experience running a business. So that's the bold claim. Again, this is the bold claim from the product, right? Because number 3, they aren't actually numbered in this. I'll make sure this brief, the questions match the version I use right now, right? But going back to this one, which is the third one, right? That's about with reading the letter is that one, which is again showing them a simple plug and play business opportunity. And then now we're over here to the bold claim, which is like if they buy your product, what do they get? And it's that you can make $5,000 per month in extra income by simply acting as a broker. Let me actually go ahead and I'll pause this and I'll update the things here of my current brief structure. That way it's a little more consistent. Give me 1 second. All right, so I updated this to be to match the questions in the template for the brief structure as it looks today. And it is cool to think about the fact that, again, this is from 2015, maybe even probably 2014. So going back to practicing what I preach, it's like I'm doing this today, but I was doing this back then. And so this was during the time where I was able to be quite prolific, writing as many as 12 sales letters in a single month. So yeah, I've been doing this for quite a while, and it's been working quite well. Now, right, so that was the bold claim again about results you're going to get from using the product. What is the product, right? This is the part we're going to write that out. We'll show you how to find closeout sales and liquidation items all across the country and world, and connect them to buyers. Connect them to buyers, wholesalers who are desperate to get them. You're filling a great need, and you're able to sell millions in inventory without touching it, having a warehouse, worrying about product management, or anything like that. If you have your computer now, know how to send an email, and have a few hours a week, you can easily make $4K to $10K per month doing this. Inside, you'll be shown the entire business model in simple, easy-to-follow steps. You'll be shown how easy it is to place free ads on the web that get retailers and manufacturers to come to you with their overstocked items and goods. Specifically, you'll be given 25 websites where you can post your ads for free. You're guaranteed to get at least 25 people contacting you per month with their excess inventory. The next step is for you to find buyers. To help you do that, we'll give you a list of more than 150 companies that specialize in buying overstocked or liquidation items. They are constantly looking for more goods to sell because that's how they make money. You're doing them a huge service by emailing them or calling them if you want. If you want is supposed to pertain to calling them. Then you'll be shown the keys to negotiate the deal as the broker. You'll see how to make sure you maximize your profits, get the commission you deserve, and do it without spending hours sweating it out or need to hire expensive lawyers. You'll also discover the 7 questions you need to ask every retailer or manufacturer that contacts you, and the 12 common pitfalls you need to avoid so that you're always coming out on top of the deal. So going back, again, we're going to do a whole module on fascinations, but these are fascinations right there. They're kind of curiosity bullets or things that are designed to increase intrigue and create intrigue and curiosity so that the prospect feels like, oh, I want to know the answer to that. I better either read the sales letter or in this case, buy the product. But this is what I did right before, I'm not pulling these from the sales letter. This is how I wrote it when I did this brief back in 2014. But as you can see, right, it's like this is all stuff that I can then take and apply to the copy, and that's what I actually did. When it came time to introduce the product, perfect, I was able to do that. And I had a lot of that written already. And I'm sure I probably expanded upon it a bit more, but it gave me a really great foundation where I didn't feel overwhelmed when it came time to write the sales letter. And then here's my stuff on the background story. And this is, you'll note I kind of did it internal to myself, and then I kind of shift into what the story can look like, right? And this is a made-up story that I was doing for this one at the time. But I just want to go with a pretty classic Biz Opp story here. Basically, Avatar is 55, wants to retire, but simply can't afford it. His job is okay, but he's tired of working or feeling like a slave, of never having enough time for his family, feels like life is passing him by, and worries that he's going to die one day without ever having gone to experience all the things he dreamed of, from travel to a nice home. It's so crazy. It seems like everywhere he turns, these young kids in their 20s and 30s are in the news, making billions of dollars for their simple websites that don't even do much. I probably put like millions. He dreams about having his own business, of doing something similar, but isn't he too old? Where would he even start with something like this? Does look around online see some make money from home ads and things like that, but they're all scams. He knows that millions of people around the world are making real money from the internet, but figures they have something he doesn't. Then one day he's enraged when his wife comes home from running errands and has spent $300 on new clothes at Marshall's. He tells her we can't afford to spend money like that, and she says she's sorry, but it was all 50% off and the deal was just too good for her to pass up. That gets him thinking, even though the store his wife shopped at was already a discounted retailer, they still were having a sale where some of their items were discounted another 50% on top of that. One of the shirts she got, for example, was from a pretty well-known luxury brand and normally sold for $100, but the discount store was selling it for $50, and then his wife got another 50% off that, so she only paid $25. It makes him start wondering, what happens to all the extra inventory that retailers aren't able to sell? Some of it goes to discount stores or outlets right away, but what happens when they don't sell it either? It never just becomes free, right? So do they just destroy it or? And that's just clothing. The same thing has to happen for everything, from hardware to electronics, even cars. So he starts doing research and discovers that there's a whole industry out there of people who buy products that are either overstocked or that haven't sold at the regular price and then resell it for cheap to the public. He doesn't have the kind of money needed to start his own store. What he does realize is that he can act like a middleman, much in the same way a real estate agent is the middleman in the sale of a home. So he starts making lists of all the different liquidators and retailers out there who buy these closeout items. Then he starts putting ads up saying he can help companies and manufacturers sell to those liquidators. Before he knows it, he's acting as a broker and making a few thousand and then $40,000 a month, and he doesn't have to do anything. Simply send some emails, make a phone call every now and then, and that's it. Of course, there's some trial and error to figure all this out, which you won't have to go through. You won't have to go through since the program shows you everything. But anyways, incredible, changed life, shares with others. So that's my story. And frankly, it's a good story, but you'll note too, right, in that story, it worked in the paradoxical question and it worked in the metaphor as well. And it reflected a lot of what we said about the avatar. So that's all was in there for the story. Headline ideas, I didn't put any here when I was originally doing the brief. We can try a couple real quick here. Let's think about it for a second. How you have to suffer through silence with me. I don't have to talk out loud. I'm just going to type some. Like I can't spell. Okay, there's one option. Not perfect, but not bad. How my wife's irresponsible discount store buying spree led me to discover a liquidation secret that's putting $40,000 in my pocket per month. Even though I never even went to college. That could be a good, decent headline. So that's one. And then again, if I'm doing the brief, I'd potentially brainstorm a few more. But yeah, at least there's one good one. And ideas for upsell, product upsells. I had, these are the ideas I wrote. 10 ad templates that you can copy and paste that are guaranteed to have retailers and manufacturers lining up at your door asking you to find buyers for their products. 5 email templates. These include a letter of introduction to the buyer, a letter of introduction to the seller, a letter connecting the buyer to the seller, a letter where you provide your terms, and a follow-up thank you letter. done-for-you broker agreement where you simply fill in the blanks, created by a lawyer, save $1,000 or more. All you have to do is email this agreement to both parties to sign, and you're good to go. So a lot of done for you, which is a good upsell, especially in Biz Opp. If people just bought like a system or a program, one of the best things that you can sell them is like, hey, yeah, now you can do all the work, or it can be done for you, copy and paste, easy, things like that. And then, I have this, this was just from the legacy document. I put angle of lead, which isn't part of the brief, but since I have it here, let's kind of see what I had. Across the country, people of all ages, abilities, backgrounds, education levels, etc. are making $5,000 per month using the simple business model I'm about to share with you inside. The brilliant Harvard Business School secret that everyday people can use to make $2,000, $5,000, even $10,000 or more in income each month. Do it without having to put up a single penny, pay a single employee, or even leave the house. In fact, if you have just 5 hours per week, an internet connection, and know how to send an email, I guarantee you that you can make at least $50,000 or $30,000 per year minimum using this method. So I just felt inspired, I guess, after doing all this stuff to write some ideas. Like these are two sort of separate. This is more of a subheader or a headline maybe. In fact, that's really, if it were me, I'd probably put that up into the headline ideas, right? I pop that up as a second headline option. And then, this is pretty kind of basic. I think in the actual lead I ended up talking about this Harvard concept and leverage and things like that. But yeah, pretty good stuff there. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I will just pull over the actual sales letter script I wrote back from 2014 or whatever. And actually, let me do it like this. We put this here, and I'll put the brief over to the side. And we're going to get to copy in a minute. See if I can scroll my viewpoint over there. Okay. Because remember, I wrote this for like my angle of my lead, which I was inspired to do after the brief, right? Across the country, people, right, you see this here. So check out the actual lead in the sales letter I wrote. Across the country, people of all ages, abilities, and education levels are quitting their jobs and doubling or tripling their annual incomes in the process. They're doing it by exploiting an unfair but completely legal business trick, something first developed by a brilliant professor at Harvard Business School, and that until now was only shared with his golden cufflink-wearing students so that they could copy what the richest businessmen in the world do and make as much money from as little work as humanly possible. Once you know what this trick is, you can begin using it immediately to make $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 or more in extra income each month for the rest of your life. And best of all, this cash-generating business secret doesn't require you to invest a single penny, hire a single employee, learn any complex new skills or concepts, or even leave the comfort of your own home. In fact, if you have just 5 hours per week, an internet connection, and know how to send an email, you'll be amazed by just how easy it is to make a minimum of $36,000 extra per year using this method I'm about to share, and then it's got some testimonials in it too. But this method I'm about to show you. But okay, cool. So back to this, right? I put 30,000, guarantee you can make 30,000 per year minimum here, and here it says 36,000, but so I guess I changed my mind in this. But again, all of this ended up actually going into here. But if we go to the Harvard thing, I guess I discovered after this, so that's interesting and is what it is. But bold claim. You can make $5,000 per month in extra income by simply acting as a broker between buyers and sellers. Or actually that would be the bold claim of the product. But we'll come back to that. But let's go back to number 3. Yeah, if you kind of look at the bold claim of $5,000 per month and everything, and a plug and play business opportunity and everything like that, that's all right up in here. So what's cool, and again, we're about to go into the RMBC and copy and everything like that, but what's cool is you can kind of see how the brief then influences the sales letter. And maybe I'll use this one as an example when I go through the sales letter kind of outline, which is what we're going to get to next.